My production skills developed greatly throughout my project, as when I came to this school, I had limited experience within this area, and now I have gained a good understanding which I can push forward into my project for A2. Firstly, my pre-production skills have improved. I knew a little about pre-production from working on an advert set in Italy, where I joined the pre-production meetings looking at the shooting schedules, costumes, lighting, setting, stage. These skills I applied to the pre-production when making my own opening title sequence. Research was a main element that I looked at. Before creating my own title sequence, I never really looked at them before, so by researching how they look and the order of the titles, it benefited the outcome of my project. And now I have a more realistic understanding of what title sequences should look like. Now onto my production and post-production skills I have learnt. These are mainly gained through workshops with Matt. In our first workshop, we were introduced to 3 cameras: Sony X5, Canon FS100 and Blackmagic. I've never really used film cameras before, so it was interesting to see how each worked. I learnt how to set up each of the cameras, what the lenses are for, why we use bubbles, and what ISO to use. This is all written in my blog below. We also learnt some key rules which we apply if we're going to have a job in this workplace when we're older. These include the yours mine rule, which when you pass something valuable and fragile, you say yours, and the other person says mine that's collecting it so nothing gets broken.
Yours.
Mine.
Another important rule is stand by. This is when the director goes stand by and everyone on set goes standing by. Then the director goes roll camera and the cameraman or woman says rolling camera. And then they say action. This is how we know everyone is ready to film. We applied this to filming our opening title sequence on our shoot day. There is also the 180-degree rule. When you're filming a scene or sequence, you have to imagine a line down the middle of the page. This line shows where you can film before the camera swaps around places with 2 people. This is shown in the images below. We also learned about the 2/3, 1/3 rule. Now we know how to use the equipment and how to be safe when using it. We are taught how to apply this knowledge into filming. We filmed a short sequence with just actions, as we are told this is the best way to make a sequence smooth by cutting on the action. We swapped around roles when making our short sequences, and for this one, I acted in it. We filmed me walking over to the sofa, getting out my phone, scrolling through my notifications, and then putting it in my pocket and walking away. We did this to include a variety of shots. We could have a wide shot of me walking over to the sofa, and then a close-up of my hands going through my phone. In our next workshop, we went into the editing suite to learn how to edit this together. I have used iMovie in the past when editing things. However, Premiere Pro is a new idea to me. We learnt the basic information first. We learnt about rushes. Rushes are what the shots that we filmed are called. They are called rushes because when they used to film, at the end of the day, everything they had filmed gets rushed down to the developing suite to get developed. This is where the name rushes came from. Another important term is bins. These are the folders that we put our shots in. The rest of the information about our first editing lesson is on the blog shown on the screen. We then did another workshop where we incorporated the element of speech. I did the majority of filming in this workshop. By physically applying this information, it allowed me to further understand cameras we would be using for our opening title sequence. This is my favourite role within the workshops, as I like photography. By working with the camera, I was able to experiment with depth of field and white balance, for example.
What's good, babes? I was watching Toddlers and Tiaras. That's like my best show. Like, the craziest thing happened. Haley's mom forgot her dress. Crazy.
You're late again. Half an hour this time.
It was Toddlers and Tiaras. Like, what am I supposed to do?
If you love it so much, why don't you let that be your girlfriend instead?
See, you're cool, but Toddlers and Tiaras is cooler.
Just get out.
What? But you're like Haley's mom. Stupid.
Within our last camera workshop, we filmed a sequence by using a prop this time. In this case, we used a gun, so we could learn how to use special effects on Adobe Premiere Pro afterwards. This is another gained skill I learnt within this process.
First off, I am broke. Second of all, that gun isn't even real.
Mate, fuck off. You seen your clothes, fam? You ain't broke.
Hey, 50% off sale, Selfridges, Christmas.
It's not a toy gun.
Oh, you.
All the planning and pre-production I applied in deciding the location, lighting, props and costumes for my opening title sequence. All of these combined resulted in our psychological thriller being conveyed to an audience quite well, in particular the second half. I also gained production knowledge throughout this process, which is embedded into our filming day. The 180-degree rule, for example, did not apply much, as we had no actors moving around having conversation. However, we could apply depth of field to a lot of the scenery we filmed outside. The post-production editing skills was the main aspect I learned throughout this process. I really enjoyed editing on a program as advanced as Premiere Pro, and I learned many important features which made our sequence flow. In particular, the section within the house, for example, cutting on action and movement so that everything fitted together nicely worked really well.